We are live with playoff analyst Jack Abady after another crazy
YMSL weekend.
2 one-run games. Only 2 games to discuss. First, we have the game 3 between the Maccabees and the White Walkers. And then, of course, we have the crazy game 1 after that.
A lot to talk about. Both games. But I guess we got to start with game 3 to see how we got to game 1.
Got to go in chronological order. Game 3, Maccabees, White Walkers. We spoke about the first 2 games at length.
Yes.
Maccabees were lucky to even get to a game 3 in both of our opinions.
Yes.
Now they're here, and they definitely played sharp. They were definitely ready.
The Maccabees?
The Maccabees.
Yes. I think a couple things. One is Leo came out to play.
Yes.
I knew Mikey was going to come out to play. Mikey's my boy. I knew Mikey was going to put up a great game, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
And Leo pitched a no-hitter through 5 innings.
Crazy.
They weren't even close to scoring. Mikey, in and out of trouble all game. Ike Mavoro with a huge at-bat with the bases loaded in the 5th. 2-0 count. You're the number 3 hitter. I don't want you walking. Takes a meatball down the middle. 3-1 count.
Yes.
Takes another meatball down the middle. Looking like he's trying to draw a walk, play for 1 run. John Eliezer on deck. He gets a 3-2 pitch. It was a meatball also. Hits a hard ground ball to Lee. He's been doing that tag double play his whole life.
How did it happen with him so often?
His whole life, but he even happened later in the game. He did another one.
Crazy.
But I just think the batter instinctually on 3-2, your mindset is different than a 2-0, and you're a little bit tighter. And he's got to be swinging on 2-0 and 3-1 with the bases loaded. You're going to be just blow the game open. The other team hasn't had a hit yet. What are we doing?
What do you say when Mavora replies, 3-1 and 3-2, I'm getting the same pitch?
It's not the same pitch, because at 3-1, there's no... You could be a hard pitcher and you could take it. You're not out. At 3-2, borderline, you're not going to leave it up to the ump. You may be expanding the zone a little bit. 2-0 and 3-1, you're looking for a pitch. Now, he could say those weren't the pitches I was looking for, but it looked like it was right down the middle. I mean, it looked like, to me, he's looking for a walk, which is something that maybe your 8 or 9 hitter does, but with the bases loaded and Ike Mavora up and an out scores a run, if you're just looking for 1 run, then go hit a fly ball on that pitch, elevate the ball. But I want to hit there. I want to go up the middle, and he hit the ball hard and he got into bad luck, but I just didn't like the mindset of the at-bat at all.
Okay, so 1-0 game, and then the Maccabees finally tie the game at 1.
Well, first it was the next inning. Ike Mavora gets up, hits a blast in the gap, redeems himself for a moment, but he doesn't get the second base. He fell down or something. I don't know what happened there. That he didn't get the second base on a ball that would hit the fence.
It hit the fence. The guy scored from first or from second?
From first. Leadoff walk is a tough one for Mikey in the 6th.
Tough one.
They finally got their first hit bottom of the inning. Now they got to hit the Maccabees that first and second. They look like they might score first and take advantage of Mavora's double play. But again, Leo gets tough and gets out of it. And then Mikey walks Joe Greenberg on a 3-2 pitch. No, actually he hit a ground ball to the third baseman, dove. He thought he walked.
Right.
On the 3-1 pitch, and he brought him back.
Exactly.
And then he hit a ground ball to the third baseman, diving stop, and he beat it out. Nice play. He beat it.
So David DC played very good third base. Later in the game, there was a slow grounder by Ike Mavora again. Much later in the game. I know I'm going out of order.
Right.
That I think he dove a little early for, and it got by him, and that set up ended up setting up the game-winning hit in the 11th inning.
So now it's he hits the ball in the gap. He doesn't get the second base. The next guy, then he stayed in the game. He wasn't hurt. We thought maybe he was hurt. He stayed in the game to run.
Right.
The next one was the bad call at second base. The throw was high. No argument. Maybe a little bit that he was safe, but he was clearly off the bag. They call him out.
Lee definitely jumped, and it looked like he
got under. But he's out. The next guy hits another ground ball, force play, and they get out of that inning.
Crazy. They got out of so much trouble from the first inning, that easy play.
Not even. The next play was Abraham Haber hits a ball down the line that we think's another triple, and it's foul. But if it's fair, the same angle. People see this different things on the same camera angle. Apparently, it looked like it was foul. The umpire's right there staring at it, and he does this like one hand. Little soft movement foul instead of being a little bit more vocal.
Right.
I think if he's loud and is on top of it, people aren't questioning it because he has the best angle of it.
He had the best angle
about what he's doing.
The good thing is the fans on the side.
Argument.
Yeah, but the fans all told me, the ones on that side said it was foul.
I think it was foul. He's looking right at it, but I need him to be more vocal, and then it shuts it down from the beginning. Once he's quiet about it, Haber's yelling run. They're yelling. There's another camera angle, which is the same angle you had.
The same exact. Haber was as close as we are.
You can't see anything from that side anyway. If you're not right down the line, which the umpires were, he's right on top of it. The hard part was the outfielder Jamie sliding. Is it hitting his glove? Is his body blocking? So that was the hard part that you couldn't really see. We were blocked out for sure, but the umpire, you see him, he's in perfect position, which is great to see that he's right down the line. And I think having an extra umpire, did we have an extra umpire?
We had
I think that's the key.
Thank God.
There's no one there, and when there's man on first, the umpire is usually between first and second.
Yes,
so
usually no one is there.
How's anyone going to see that? The
Exactly.
home plate umpire, who knows what he's doing after the ball's hit, but there's a third umpire who's right on the line, who sees it perfectly, makes the right call. Abraham Haber then goes on the next pitch, tries to go down the right field line a little bit foul.
Yes.
Eventually gets out, and the inning is over with one run, and people are going crazy.
Okay, now the next inning. The Maccabees.
Wow, what an inning this is now.
Bases loaded with
gosh.
nobody out.
Bases loaded, nobody out, and the heart of your order up. I mean, they were saying throughout the day the theme is going to be Lisa Carey and A.B. Cohen. We wanted to see more out of them.
Okay, so wait.
But this is the inning that they actually produced. A.B. got walked, Lee got a double, and second and third, bases loaded, and you have Jamie up, who got the big hit last week. Let's go.
So it was a bub base hit to Eddie Rishti. Eddie never doesn't make this play. He threw it like down a little bit, and Bub was faster than he thought. I guess.
King of the infield hit this week. A couple of big infield hits from Bub, but moving down the line, making pressure on it.
If you bust, you will get pressure on the infielders.
Seemed a little shaky on a bunch of throws. I mean, he's a shortstop, but he seemed to be babying that throw a lot throughout the series, and especially on Sunday. And this one came to cost him. It was too close that it shouldn't have been that close, but you know what? Bub's moving. It was a slow hit ball. He took a little bit too much time, and he was safe.
Right, so safe at first. Lee, finally the Maccabees get a big hit. All day they're waiting for a big hit.
Yes.
Here we are in the sixth inning.
It's one of the only
Until
ones.
this point, Lee's been doing nothing. AB's been doing nothing. Morris has been doing nothing. Jamie's been doing nothing. The whole team has been doing nothing.
AB had 2 hits to this point in the whole game. It's
Exactly.
Exactly.
They did exactly have 2. Bub is one of them on that infield hit, and David
Cohen,
DC Cohen earlier.
Right.
Okay, Lee finally a gorgeous, ripped, clean double. Men on second and third.
And I have a problem with that. The throw coming into third. I mean, it haunts the White Walkers later in game 2.
You mentioned that.
In the World Series game, you're gonna see that there's throws. This team, you're in the World Series, you're in the semifinals. You gotta throw. You're up by 1 run while we throw into third to maybe get Bub, who's fast. You just beat out a ball to second base and let the go-ahead run go to second base. Now they get out of it, but they put themselves in such a tough spot for no reason. You gotta throw to second base.
Such a great point. I didn't notice it at the time, which shame on me. I didn't realize it, but either JD or Norwood, I forgot. Somebody texted me saying that throw should go to second. It should have been met on first and third.
But it then ends up taking the bat out of AB Jeff's hands because with first and third they're not walking him, but with second and third you're definitely walking him. And they walk him. And now Jamie's up.
So the funny thing is, Jamie's batting cleanup, but there was a debate, and they've been flip-flopping who should be cleanup. Should it be Morris or should it be Jamie? They went with Jamie, which is fine.
Jamie
got
the big hit last week, and as it's been documented in this show, Morris Shama is great with the glove. I haven't seen a hit in since I've been saying he needs to get a hit. He hasn't gotten a hit. So to me, it might have been a discussion, but there's no discussion. Jamie got the hit, and he batted fourth last week. They finally moved Morris down, so I'm okay with where Jamie was, and then Morris, being the veteran he does take care of it after Jamie. But first, Jamie's up. Terrible pop.
Terrible pop-up. He actually popped up in foul territory, got new life, and
Right.
then popped up on the next pitch.
Oh, no.
You know he feels terrible about it. You know he wants to kill himself.
He's trying to elevate the
this.
ball. He's trying to do the right thing. He just saw Mavora hit a ground ball into a double play.
Right.
He's playing for hit the ball as far as I can. He's a pull hitter, so he doesn't want to hit a ground ball to third. So he's maybe playing a little bit up the middle with his swing. He got under it and hit it a mile high. Great pitch by Leo. And gets the pop-up he needs.
Tip the cap to Leo here.
Yeah,
He got the pitch he
all
needed.
day, all day.
He got him to pop up. Jamie didn't want to pop up. Obviously, he did it. 1 out. Next guy, Marishama.
High pitch, tough one to handle, but after Jamie popped up, I think Mo said, I'm going to hit the ball to the right side, almost like a Jack Jamal type of play, where no matter what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit a ground ball to the second baseman. If he wants to go home, whatever, but I'm going to play the right baseball play. I'm not going for a hit and hitting a line drive at someone and not scoring any runs. We got to make sure it's the 6th inning. We got to get one. I'm going to pass the buck to the next guy, but I'm going to make sure I get in one. He takes a tough pitch and hits a hard ground ball to second base, and they get the one.
So, and that's really the right move because
Yes.
you can't get out of there without scoring.
No, you can't get out of there without scoring, and the pressure's put on him to where he needs to take off the pressure from the team who
Right.
hasn't gotten a hit. He has to do that, and don't go for too much. And it was a credit to him. He did a perfect job of doing what he did.
And he moved
now,
the runners over
second and
also.
third.
So now 2nd and 3rd. Now the second intentional
Yes,
walk of the
wow.
inning.
Another walk.
Another
Now
walk
you're
to
saying
David
To
Risty.
me, what I'm saying when I'm watching is, Sonny's in Capri with his at bat here. There's something in this situation where Sonny is up. Now, it didn't come to cost them in the field so much.
At
Jamie
all.
played
Really
left
at all
great,
it didn't cost
and
them.
Morris played a great shortstop, as we see. I actually thought in the first inning, their infield defense looked a little shaky.
It did.
With Lee going to second and playing short center and switching. And I was saying, well, Jamie's at short center and Lee's at second and Sonny's there.
You won't have any of that.
I thought it was going to come back to cost them, but it didn't.
It
They
never
didn't
did.
score, and it wasn't a problem. But offensively, in this spot, I want Sonny up, or I want Sonny getting walked, and I want Risty up, and they can't walk Risty. Instead, they're able to walk Risty and move the lineup and get to the guy they want with the bases loaded and get out of the inning.
It's just crazy that Hank
comes down
missed
to
a
that.
week and they
Right.
won both. The next guy, Lee, missed a
Yeah,
week and
yeah.
they had a bye.
Right.
You've missed weeks
It's
in
not
Brazil.
fair. It's not.
Now
oh,
it comes up to Sonny's
But it
exact
has
spot.
to be that spot. It
It's
has
crazy.
to be spoken about, but it's crazy.
It's just crazy that it came down to 1 run, 11 innings, his spot coming up, and it ended up being David DC. He got the first hit of the game an inning before or 2 innings before, whatever it is, and he couldn't get the hit in this big spot. And the White Walkers, bases loaded, 1 out,
Tough spot for
only
DC.
give up 1 run.
Broke the no-hitter up. Had a shot at it and didn't come through.
Okay, now it's 1-all.
And we're going to the 7th.
We go to the 7th inning.
Shimmy comes up now. Tie score, 1-all. After all that, they get out of it with only giving up 1 run. First pitch, professional. Shimmy with a hit.
Next guy up, Mo Casson, first pitch also.
Again, hit.
Boom, base hit. Now there's 2 men on,
Nobody out. And they hit a ground ball up the middle. Morris makes a diving stop and gets the force at second base.
Right, that was Raw Dog.
Raw dog.
Now comes up Benster. This guy
Wow, had a day. Had himself a day in the biggest time. We were saying before, a guy who shows up early, no fanfare, doesn't get picked, where he thinks he should be, but came through for a team that's going to the World Series and was probably the MVP of their day in the World Series of Game 1, and right now with the go-ahead hit to take the lead.
But not a hit.
Not a hit. We're not going to call it
Not a hit because Abdo was out at second base, and so it's a fielder's choice.
You got to be going halfway or something.
Gotta be
Took
doing
it out on the
something.
helmet. Took it out on the helmet a little bit too much.
Well, he'll be getting an invoice in the mail for that, Jack.
Yes, took it
because
out on
he
the helmet,
cracked
and they
the
took the
helmet.
lead. So you're thinking that at least you're upset that you didn't get the second, but you scored, and 1 run means so much in the 7th inning. But so we can call it a fielder's choice, game-winning fielder's choice. But got the job done. They take the lead. Ended up him not getting the second. Really didn't cost him. Eddie Risty lines out on a diving play. He probably, first and second 2 outs. Who knows what's going to really happen there? But now the Maccabees are coming up, bottom of the 7th,
Crazy.
down by 1. Smackdown all on the side with their gloves, ready to get on the field. and we go to the bottom of the 7th.
So Mikey got burnt on first pitches in that top of the 7th.
Two in a row to
Two
start
in a
the
row,
inning.
first pitch swinging. Now I guess he said, "Let me swing at the first pitch," and he did that, and he popped up 1 out.
One out, nobody on, 2 outs away. Leo could taste it.
Yes.
Zolta coming up to the bottom of their lineup. Zolta and Shahabar. You're thinking it's over. We're not going to even see Lee. We're not going to see AB. It's done.
But Jay-Z Zolta
Clutch.
still has some fight in him. He ripped a beautiful base hit, man on first.
Man on first. We're going to use a slotted runner, Joey Cohen, which next year may not be allowed since they're both in the field. But this year, the rules are they're allowed to be in the same slot. Zolta gets a runner. Joko's playing first. Joko's running at first
I don't
base
think
now.
either of us wanted it to be allowed this year, but
No.
somehow we got
Yeah,
overruled.
Sonny, who's in Capri, is making the rules.
Yes, so Sonny from Italy made that rule.
Right.
And okay, so Joey's running. Now comes up Ruby Shahabar.
Lefty up, trying to move the runner, hits the worst, best shot possible to advance a runner. A dribbler almost off his foot that Leo was able to field and smartly just runs to the bag, gets the out. There was no play at second base. Don't even look at second base. Beat Ruby to the bag,
And he
there's
didn't
2
even
outs.
look. Good for him, he didn't look.
It was then a play that really you could have looked, but maybe he could have got greedy, but he didn't. He played it smart, and he goes and gets the out at first base.
But
And
that
now-
Zolta hit was huge because it first of all, put the runner on, obviously.
It
But
flipped
now
the
it
lineup.
flipped the lineup.
That
Now
was
you have
key.
the top of the lineup.
That was the key. You're thinking, as long as Ruby doesn't hit into a double play, we're okay.
We're
and if he
okay.
advances the runner, we're even better. And he did both of those.
And
so
he did both.
you
Now
can't
Bub
complain.
is up. Ground ball to John.
Bub
is
testing every
fast.
infielder with a ground ball to see who could throw him out. Slow roller, a little bit slow. John was playing maybe a little bit deep, but he also wants to stop a single.
Yes.
He has to play a little deeper because he wants to knock anything down so the run doesn't score. He gathers, he makes a low, hard throw, and Mavora doesn't get off the bag to catch it. Now, this is the first baseman dilemma. Do I hold the bag and stretch and try to get the guy out to end the game to go to the World Series? Or do I get off the bag, maybe you try to do a tag or something, but you got to know that if you don't catch the ball, the runner on second base is coming around. If you catch the ball, you pass it on to Lee to get the big hit. Okay, no harm, no foul, I don't know what it is, but it's live to see another pitch. Instead, he tries to do a tough stretch. The ball trickles off his glove into the fence, and it's 2-2 all of a sudden.
When you see
Smackdown
Joey,
sits back down.
Smackdown sits down for a while. When you see Joey Cohen rounding third and jumping up to land on the plate, just the
Oh,
sheer
my
joy.
God.
What a moment for the Maccabees
And-
because this game was over.
As many times as I watched it, there's no way if Ike catches the ball that he scores. He may try and do something that we've seen other runners try to do, try to run on a ball in the infield, but any kind of lob throw home gets him out. So
I don't know what Jeffrey was talking about, saying that it didn't matter that the ball got by.
Maybe he thought the runner was on third base to start.
I don't know what he
but
was thinking,
Clearly,
man.
the runner was on second base, and it's just a tough play because the game's over, and he's thinking I could reach that inch. You know, it wasn't a terrible throw that he's saying to clearly get off the bag. It was close enough to where, you know, John's probably thinking hold the bag and catch the ball, and the game's over.
So I have to tell you, I watched the video. I was standing on the sideline. The throw looked good from where I was standing, but people on the other sideline said it wasn't.
It looked like it was tailing away from him, and
was
that's a
tailing.
tough ball. John throws a little bit sidearm.
Yeah.
Steven Shalou also throws, and when that ball's coming from a not over the top angle, it has a little bit of tail on it, and it's tough to judge. And you know, Ike's played a great first base, but he's an outfielder for many years. Then he was a pitcher. He's
right.
transitioned lately to first base, but it was just a tough play.
So I spoke to Ike. There's a few factors here.
Okay.
He's saying he could tell when the ball is coming. He sort of has somewhat of an instinct, as you could imagine. If I could catch this ball or not.
Right.
He thought he could catch the ball, and then there's this whole other factor of the glove being broken at the end of the inning. He doesn't even know
if his glove was broken going into the inning or if it broke on the play.
He thinks maybe that ball hit his glove and broke on that play. He thinks it's possible.
But he's not thinking that it was playing with a broken glove.
No, but he is thinking that after that play, he did not know the glove was broken. And if Lee on the next play hit a ground ball to Hank, We know what Hank
Right,
does. Hank
right,
takes 3
right,
steps,
right. Runs across the diamond,
runs
and
to the
throws
pitcher's bench,
it,
and throws
there's
it
a
hard.
chance that the ball will go through the glove again.
And Maccabees win the game on
A
walk.
broken glove. Wow.
Can you
wow.
imagine?
Think on that, I mean, wow.
Can you imagine?
My prediction would have been right.
It would have been
a ground ball.
I mean, that's just crazy. So there's so many different factors. Now we go to the 8th, we go to the 9th, we go to the 10th. And Maccabees are the home team. This is what
There
they're
was some great
screaming
plays,
about.
but there
Yes.
was some great plays. Marsham on a diving stop, Bub on a ball down the line, Marsham on a ball over his head. They're calling it the greatest catch ever. I think the circumstances of the catch with no one on 2 outs hurt it a little bit, but greatest catch just on a play, isolated play, one of the greatest catches.
I mean,
full sprint over his head, sliding, unbelievable. With all these momentum plays to end innings, you're thinking, can they score one? They're the home team.
You're thinking, how could you not
All
score?
we're saying is that the home team, you gotta be
home
home team, and now they're up, and they're just killing me that they're not even, not really threatening.
Jack, in one inning, Bub ran across the line to get Greenberg on. I'm telling you, it looked like a triple when he hit the ball.
Yeah.
I didn't have a good camera angle, but I was watching, and I was talking to someone
Right.
else. But he rocked the ball down the line. Bub sprinted a far way and got the ball. Then Lee made a backhand stab, and then the Morris play. How you could not score after that Morris play is just beyond me. They were so pumped.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't. They were locked into the game. It's a tough game. It's 11 innings. It's grueling. You think that every time the home team definitely is the favorite there in that situation. But they're offensively challenged a little bit, this team, and it showed up in this series. Game 1, 14-0 or whatever the score was. Game 2, they scored on a bleeder, Jamie pop-up that scored 2 runs, and then he ended up on third base, and Rishley got 1 big hit. So that's 3 runs out of their 4. They tried to give away that game. They never really tacked on. They tacked on a 1 run on an inning that they should have had more runs. They only got 1. And then this game where they're offensively, they're big hitters. We go back to A.B. Cohen and Lee Zakaria, who were up multiple times. Didn't have a great series.
They didn't.
And the one inning that they did, they loaded the bases and they scored only 1. That you're thinking, okay, they did their job. Now you need productive outs to score 2 or 3.
So Maccabees only scored.
That's what killed them.
7 runs in the 3 games.
7
and
runs.
One of them was after they were down 10-0. They made it 10-1 or something.
I like to think that in the playoff series, all year is for the whole team to chip in and to help. In the playoff series, if it's a team effort and everyone hits, but the team that advances is the team where their stars get on and their stars score, and they produce, and they didn't produce here.
So I always said that also. We having a baby, Jack, or what's going on? Okay, I've always said that also. I remember from the Expos, Ali did not have the greatest year that year. No one remembers this. He wasn't great that year in the regular season, but before the playoffs, I remember calling him, I remember telling him, we got you here with what we have, which is not much, believe me.
Right.
Now it's time for you to just win these games for us. Do what you got to do and win a game or 2 every week for us, and then we'll try to win 1 more. The big stars have to step up, and we love them. We're friends with all of them, but Lee, AB, even Morris didn't have the best series that they could have.
Jamie had a tough one.
Jamie
got the
also.
Big hit in game 2. Up in the big spot. These guys, it's killing them. It's not like it's not killing them.
Right.
They know it. They feel it. It was an 11-inning grueling game. And you know what? If one thing goes their way, then no one's talking about what they did produce in the World Series and everything works. So,
right.
It wasn't only them, but when you're the Monday morning quarterback and you're analyzing the game, you're saying, okay, if lead off the inning, you're up in the 7th, in the 10th, in the 11th, get 1 hit. They didn't get on, and that hurt the team.
Okay, let's go to the Abe Haber at bat now, because now
I spoke to Mikey.
Yeah.
And I heard conflicting stories. So the story that I heard, so when I know this man on third, 2 outs
after a double play,
another lead double play, much closer at first base this time.
Yes.
But another lead double play with first and second, nobody out, and Abraham Haber's up. And I'm watching the game. I actually went and spoke to Mikey in person. I had to understand what was going on inside his head. I said, Sonny's not there. Who's deciding if we're walking or we're not? Are you deciding it? Is David Rishley, is Zolta, Sonny not being there, a captain's decision?
Lee.
I said, in the past when I was a captain and Mikey was my pitcher, I never left it to you because you want to face the guy. I'm looking at it from different. I'm never going to ask you your opinion.
Okay.
But if the captain's not there, the next person that I would think would make the decision is Mikey, because his game's on the line. It's up to him. And he said what he first understood was that Morris Casson was on deck, is what he thought. And that with Morris Casson on deck, he did not want to face Morris Casson. He thought he was maybe a little bit of a dangerous hitter, clutcher hitter than Abraham, who Abraham's been flirting with the lines, but not really getting hits to this point. But in reality, Shimmy was on deck.
Okay.
And I said, regardless, maybe you walk two guys to set up the force everywhere. I know, Mikey, you're not, if you don't want to walk two, at least one, but you don't even feel the pressure. You haven't walked a guy since Joe Greenberg in the 6th inning. We're not talking walks. You're going to face the worst hitter with the force everywhere, and we're going to get out of it. Instead, they have a 2-second meeting, and they decide to pitch to Abraham Haber. And whether it was they didn't know who really was on deck, or they wanted to go after Abraham Haber, he made him pay in a crazy hit not walk off to take the lead in the top of the 11th.
So to
Clutch.
me, I mean, you definitely walk Abe Haber there. I said it at the time. My nephew Saul Towell was with me.
Yeah.
He goes, it doesn't matter who's on deck. You got to walk this guy.
It doesn't matter.
Just so you can knock it down
Unless
and get
it's
the out
maybe
in
the
second.
10 hitter and the 1 hitter, and
By the
something
way,
like that.
remember when Abdo was thrown out at second?
Yes.
That's why you walk a guy. Like, you can even have a base hit to right that a guy is charging and you chuck it in and you get the out in second. Anything.
You
So
know.
you definitely walk him, and
maybe two.
Maybe two to get to Mocas, who they thought was up, because Shimmy's been hotter than
You want to
Mocas.
have the base. You want to have the force at every base.
Yeah.
And if the one thing you're thinking is my pitcher going to walk the winning run in, and if you're playing that he hasn't walked the guy in 5 innings, you know, maybe he's due for a walk, so maybe you only walk one guy. But it doesn't make any sense to pitch to him.
He's
and
not
I would like to
walking the
think
guy.
That this is another aspect of the game, aspect number 2, that the captain is not there, and who's making the decision, and the pitcher wanted to pitch to him, and it backfired.
So he's not walking that guy home. I will not believe ever that he would have walked. If they walked the bases loaded, I'm not buying that he would have walked the guy home. He would have thrown a strike somewhere, and then maybe Morris Casson gets a hit. Maybe Shimmy gets a hit. I don't know. Maybe they fly out. But I don't buy into Mikey walking that guy home after 11 innings of throwing strikes. You know?
And Mikey's not that pitcher to do that.
Now we have to give credit again. Leo Casson went better than Mikey. He was only 2 runs, not 3, and he had much fewer base runners. Maccabees had 6 hits all day.
Unbelievable.
2 of them were the 2 that we described from Bub. The other ones I don't really remember. Lee had a great double. DC had one.
That's 5 of them.
So 11 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs in that moment. Leo really, really opened a ton of eyes. He's been doing it all year, and good for him, because
great for him. You know, Leo was my pitcher on the Untouchables, and we started horrible. We were 1-7, and Leo pitched the game we were playing. I remember the Rockies, Jackie Towell's team, and they were the best team in the league at the time, and we swept them with Leo. And then he left, and we ended up going on, but I always felt that we swept them, and he turned the corner, and in my eyes in that game we were a terrible team, and he shut them out in both games. And that, as a team, we grew and we went on, but Leo had to leave the team for business reasons. But I felt always that he wasn't in the same conversation as the 7th, 8th pitcher.
Right.
I felt like he's closer to the Mikeys and Jeffrey Sackers. He just needs to be on the right team. This is a great team that when we was put together, you were saying maybe Leo's the only question mark, and if he's not a question mark, they're going to be in the World Series, and here they are. He's not a question mark.
Before the season, we
and they're in
spoke
the World
about
Series.
this team's infield, and the Maccabees did hit a ton of ground balls. They weren't popping up all day long. I mean, they popped up in some big moments.
Made a lot of
Hank maybe
plays.
made 10 putouts across the diamond. John made a bunch of plays, putting aside the error. Mocas not so much, but Eddie Rishti made a bunch of putouts. I mean, their infield really stepped up.
That being said, bottom of the 11th, you've come back twice from 1 run down. You have Lee and A.B. Cohen and Jamie up. I'm not dead. I'm not dead here.
Someone's got to get
a lazy pop up to center field, a lazy pop up to right field, a walk, and then Marsham ends the game. And we are going to the World Series now, and SmackDown is getting ready and loosening up for the 5th time of the day.
Yes.
And we're on to the World Series.
Yeah.